Hey everybody, it's me here, Professor Zach, and I am back. I'm back here with a Doctor Who review. As you all probably know, maybe due to marketing and just the constant trailers, Doctor Who is back with season one, and it's on Disney Plus actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and review at least the first episode of this season. The second episode will be a separate video, of course, over some Street Fighter footage, sorry. And you guys can go ahead and watch my baby Minot and kick Kimberly's ass here. Anyway, but yes, so if you remember or if you've seen my previous reviews, I've stated that like Doctor Who is going through a phase where you can just hop in. I said that with the specials, which is still true. You can do that with the specials, and they do explain who the Doctor is and what's going on with him and all that other good stuff. But they really want you to hop in during season one. The reason being is the fact that like it's called season one and not series 14. Anyone who knows the way things work in the UK, shows normally go by series, not seasons. At least in Doctor Who. And this is more of a soft reboot. So I would say definitely if you've had a passing interest in Doctor Who or just want to get into it or just looking for a new show, I would definitely say start off with season one. You can start off with the specials if you would like, but I won't lie, that does benefit more from you actually starting with Doctor Who at least from 2005, which isn't hard to do because they're all on Disney Plus, so you can start from back in the day if you want to. Hell, if you really want to be a trooper, you can start from the 60s. But anyway, I say that to say this again: if you're new to Doctor Who, had a passing interest, or just want to find out who the Doctor is, start off with season one. I know they put the Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road, which I reviewed, so you go check that out. I know they put that as like episode one technically, which again, that's not a bad place to start because that is like the very first episode with our new Doctor here, Ncuti Gatwa, who you might know from the show Sex Education. And he's pretty good. He's a good actor. I didn't watch Sex Education, so I don't know. But seeing him in Doctor Who makes me want to go back and see how he was in Sex Education. But anyway, all in all, before I move forward here with spoilers and whatnot, again, start in season one if you're interested. Even if you are not new, it's a great introduction to this Doctor. It's a great introduction to Ruby Sunday, who is his new companion. And again, episode one introduces you to these two characters, the companion and the Doctor. And then episode two actually explains the formula of Doctor Who, like who the Doctor is, the fact that he's an alien from a planet where they have time machines and he has his own time machine, and he just goes around solving problems and having fun and running into some familiar enemies along the way. Simply put, they go through that bare minimum, and that's all you really need to know in order to hop into an episode of Doctor Who, honestly. All the other details you'll find out when you go ahead and explore. Anyway, damn, this Kimberly's kicking Cammy's ass. I won't lie, that's kind of nice to see. Anyway, sorry y'all got distracted. But, okay. To hop into the episode, Space Babies, right? Before I hop into spoilers, I will say episode is good. I won't lie, I wasn't expecting much from this because I was not excited to watch an episode about space babies. And I won't lie, a lot of my expectations were set appropriately because what I thought was going to happen did happen. Like having the babies talk, it did look a little bit awkward. The baby's facial expressions did not match what they were saying in some cases, which I get. You know, you can't direct babies, they're babies, right? But I won't lie, a lot of babies did look adorable, especially that cute black baby, like that black girl. She looks so adorable. Oh my god, oh, she's so cute. So Space Babies was a fun episode, and like I said before, great episode if you want to know who the Doctor is and what's going on. And it does get into some I was gonna say that it has twists. It's a pretty straightforward episode, but it's a nice introductory episode. It's a nice adventure in time and space, you know? So I would definitely say go check it out. Episode is good. From here on out, we're watching spoilers and moving to the next replay. Alright, so since this is essentially, this is essentially the Doctor's, this version of the Doctor, as well as Ruby, who's the name of his companion. This is like essentially their first adventure together, and I won't lie, Ncuti Gatwa, again, who's the guy who plays the Doctor, and crap, what's her name, is Millie something. I'm sorry, I forget the actress's name who plays Ruby, the companion. But they have fantastic chemistry. And you see that, okay, so you see that in the Christmas special, and it continues on here. Especially when a few things happen that I'll get into later on in this review. But from them just like having serious moments to them actually just having fun on screen, to even consoling the babies to an extent, they have great chemistry, and I love it. They're just having fun. It's just I feel like they're both having fun, but I feel like everyone on this show is having fun right now, but especially those two, you know? Like, I don't know if they're friends in real life. I don't know if they just spent time with each other, but their chemistry is on point. It's like the best chemistry I've seen in a while, honestly. So, hopping into the episode itself here, of course, like I said, it's Ruby's first adventure. So Doc said, hey, give me a number. Ruby just threw out some numbers. He put it into the TARDIS, which is his time machine. And they just go to some random space station out in the middle of space that's orbiting the planet. And of course, as stated, there's space babies there, but not just space babies, but there's also a little boogeyman, right? Which the boogeyman is actually made out of boogers, which, again, as I foreshadowed beforehand, there's a nice little gag with Ruby where she gets covered in snot, essentially, and at the time they don't know it's snot until they realize what the boogeyman is actually made out of. And it's hilarious. But anyway, you all seen the episode, you know what I mean. But anyway, I love how the space babies, to go back to them real quick, and yes, we do say space babies multiple times throughout the episode, it's hilarious. I love how the space babies, I guess you could say, because what was it? Weren't they, I think they were just mature in mind, but their bodies were still babies, because what the issue was that the crew abandoned the ship, and then they left the babies, and of course one extra person. He had one actual adult on there, I forgot her name, but I'm gonna lie, like, I don't want to say she was insignificant, but it was kind of like, she wasn't as memorable, but she was a good character, you know, she served her purpose. Good character, the actress did very well. And like I said, the space babies, they all had their different personalities. Can't really direct babies, so their mouths and their words didn't really match with how they looked. Especially that one baby that looked like he was worried all the time. He always seemed like he was a worrywart. But he was the bravest one, so whatever, right? But I did like how the babies still acted like babies, and they were still running the ship with their AI nanny. Like, no, the actual AI is called Nanny. It stands for something, I forget. But the babies were still running the ships. They had strings everywhere and whatnot, little toys and buttons, and they were still drawing on the walls and whatever. And I love how when Ruby and the Doctor were first introduced to the babies, they immediately thought, hey, it's mommy and daddy. And they were like, oh, no. We're not your parents, kids. We're not your parents. X that out. No. We're not doing this. I would do the same thing, like, kids, no, I'm not your parents. Stop that. But anyway, but it was just funny. it was more entertaining than I thought it was gonna be, honestly. More jokes, like a lot more fun. Of course, the fact that they're space babies make everything adorable. It was a little bit of tension, but again, not as much, because I feel like this was just a nice introductory episode of Doctor Who. And this was just an episode of Doctor Who. And what do I mean by that? It was just the Doctor literally traveling in space and just running into an issue and solving the issue. You know, no big twists, no big turns. You know, I guess you could say like the biggest twist is the fact that like the Doctor feels sympathy for the Boogeyman, because he's about to kill the Boogeyman, and he's about to launch him into space. And then what triggers in his brain is the fact that like, oh, he's the last of his kind, similar to that of the Doctor. And actually, I'm gonna hop into that concept in a bit. So the Doctor saves the Boogeyman and becomes an ally to the babies, and of course, everyone lives happy ever after in the end. So, like I said, it's just a basic episode of Doctor Who, but I'm not mad at it at all. It was a fun adventure. Now, as I remind myself of like my favorite aspect of this episode, okay, so let's hop into this. And this is more for the Doctor Who fans who've been watching, at least for a while, at least up to, or at least who've seen Jodie Whittaker's, who was like the 13th Doctor. Technically the Doctor before Ncuti, even though it was still David Tennant who was the 10th Doctor. I'm not gonna get into numbers and whatnot, but point is that like she was the last new Doctor before a previous Doctor came back, and then he regenerated into Ncuti, or our current Doctor. If you can't follow that, there's other videos who will explain that. Like I said, sorry for the newbies, I know I lost you there in jargon, but point is the fact that I mentioned a previous Doctor because there's this concept called the Timeless Child, which put in a whole lot of plot holes in Doctor Who, starting at the 60s. So, if you've seen the episode, or if you know anything about Doctor Who, you know that the Doctor is what you call a Time Lord. Pretty much, again, they're a race of beings who travel through time and space, and they created time travel, right? Now, thing about the Doctor is that this whole time we thought he was a Time Lord, but come to find out, he's not. But he still is. But he's not. They like the Time Lords literally found him, you know, somewhere, and they gained the power of regeneration from him, because he, at that time, he was the only one who could regenerate, because he was from some other planet, I guess. So point is the fact that like he's the only one, wherever the Doctor originally came from, he's the only one of his kind. And then on top of that, in one of like the worst decisions ever, they destroyed the Time Lords again when we went through it already. Like, so this is the second time that the Time Lords were destroyed. So once again, he's the last of his kind. On top of not knowing where he comes from. Which, okay, if we're gonna have that concept, I'm glad that they're doing something with that. I'm glad that the writer Russell T Davies is doing something with that, because we know that Ruby Sunday, again the companion, she is an orphan who was adopted. We see that in the Christmas special. Of course, they mention that in this episode. The Doctor is in a similar predicament. He's an orphan technically, except he's from a planet that was adopted by a whole race. And then of course, again in this particular episode about space babies, the Boogeyman was literally the only one of his kind, because it was made from boogies, from baby boogers. So that's what the Doctor has sympathy with the Boogeyman, just to go ahead and make that full circle. But to go back to the concept of the Timeless Child and how that works with Russell T Davies' writing, is that like he's using that as a way to give the Doctor a different kind of depth that we've never seen before, which is, I'm literally the last of my kind. Not just last of my kind, but I don't know where I came from. You know, because we did the last of his kind during the Time War, when he when he destroyed both the Time Lords and the Daleks, which is a whole nother race, which I won't get into. But ultimately, he it does give the Doctor a different kind of layer of I'm truly alone in the universe. I don't know where I'm from. I don't know. My people are gone. You know, I'm kind of devastated a little bit. Like, I want answers, and I got answers, but you know what? It's just not enough. So you kind of get a sense of loneliness in this current Doctor's. What are these two doing? Are they just jabbing? Anyway, sorry. I'm like, what the fudge muffins in a basket is going on here? But as you can tell from this episode, like, he does have a sense of sadness. And I don't know if they're going to continue to explore that throughout the season. They might, just to like help kind of sort of make sense of the Timeless Child, which again just put all kinds of plot holes in Doctor Who, honestly. There's videos out there to explain it, how it did that. I'm not going to explain it here because it probably already sounds confusing to those of you who are new. I'm sorry. But honestly, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know what these two are doing. I kind of want to skip the replay because they're just hopping around here. Anyway, back to the review. But ultimately, I want to see how they'll play around with the Doctor's sadness of not knowing where he's from, who he is, things of that nature. So, just to go ahead and wrap up this review, overall, like I said, Space Babies, great episode, pretty fun, very funny. Main takeaway is that the chemistry between Ruby and the Doctor is fan-fucking-tastic. The jokes are funny, and again, just a basic episode, but it does a great job of showing, like, okay, this is what the Doctor does. He gets a companion, normally from Earth. They go in his time machine and they just go to places and help people. You know, like I'll explain in the next episode, like, yeah, there's overarching storylines, of course, but you know, like, there are also episodes that just don't really matter to the main overarching storyline. That's what this was. It was just an adventure in time and space. So I would say definitely check it out. Again, if you have any passing interest in Doctor Who, definitely check out season 1. Hell, I would say start off with the Christmas special, which is technically episode 1 in this season, as Disney put it. I know it's a little bit confusing, but start off with that. That'll give you, that's a fun episode anyway. Start off with that, and then go from episode 1 to 3 and see how you like it. You know, if it's still not your jam, I understand, but I won't lie, this Doctor is fun as hell. Ruby plays along with it very well, and like I said, I feel like this era of Doctor Who is going to be dictated by the fact that these two have like the best chemistry I've seen in a while, especially in Doctor Who. I don't think I've seen chemistry like this since Donna Noble and the 10th Doctor, honestly. But anyway, even though Clara and what was he, the 12th? Yeah, even though Clara and the 12th Doctor had good chemistry in my opinion as well, I feel like this is just a fun era of Doctor Who that we're approaching. Hell, we had a musical number in the Christmas special, so we're entering an era of fun here, and I'm excited for it. I'm down for it. So, hopefully that review wasn't confusing, but like I said, check it out. It's fun. Space Babies. Space Babies are great. They're hilarious, and you know, they're just not created a monster, which is funny. All right, y'all. Okay, so hit us up, check us out, The Night Shift Bands, on all podcasts and platforms. Like, share, and subscribe, please, and donate to us as well. And hit up our sister podcast, Perspectives Discussions. I know I forgot to do the intro in the beginning, but hey, you know what the deal is at this point. Help us out, support us, and we love you all. Drink your water, be kind, be nice, and have a chill time, y'all. See you in the next review. Peace.